Good evening, students. So again, we are back with this video tutorial based on class of our Visual Studio, Visual Basic Language. So in the last video, we have seen that we have created a class by the name calculator, and we had two important things. One is these are the member variables. That is, we have some variables and we have some sub procedures, right? And then we created an this is how we create an object. So here you can see that we have created two objects. One is OB and another is OB2. But we haven't used the OB2, we have only used OB. Now this is where the class is so special, because every time you create an object, each object will have its own set of data. So OB will have its own set of data, which has been which through this OB we call the input, we call the add. Again, you can see we have called input as well as add. Now there is OB2 also. Let's say I modify this program and I say OB2, all right, and this is for OB2. So now in this case, what happens? If I run this program, OB will ask input again first time. So it will ask please enter the first number, second number, then it will add up also. But that first number and the second number that you added is only for the first object OB. Again, if you do it the same job by using OB2, that data will only belongs to OB2. Let's for example, let me run this and show you an example. So you won't see because it will ask you the input through the console. Just hold on, let it build a project. Right. So we are waiting for it to build up. Yep, there it's working. So now it will ask there, yeah, enter the first number. This is for the first object, that is OB. All right. So this is the first and this is the second, right? So and I add up. So there. Now this is for the OB2, right? So if I add up, so it is good. So now, so this is very simply means in very simple way this has happened, because this is how this code was written. Now somewhere here, let's say I call this OB dot add. All right. Now notice OB takes the input, it adds up. Then OB2 takes the input, adds up. Then again OB calls the add. Now every time you call the add, what happens is that it adds the value of NO1, NO2 and then shows the result. Now let me show you what happens. Now this is to keep it simple, 2 and let's say 3. This is for whom? This is for OB, right? So I press enter. So the result of the operation is 5, because 2 plus 3 is 5. Now here I give 10, all right, and here I give maybe 100. All right, this is for OB2. Now when I press enter, you see the result for this one is 110, but again it is printing 5. That means OB has retained its value of 2 and 3. So that is why every object will have its own set of data. Even though we entered 10 and 100, but that was only for OB2. So when we call that the add again in this one, it is being called by OB. So that's why it is just displaying the result of OB, that is it has the value of 2 and 3. So this is one thing about the objects, and special thing about the class as well, that every time you create an object, you are creating its own set of data. So they do not, now you are not sharing the data between the objects. There are ways to do that also, later on you will be seeing it. All right, so that's something special about a class, which if you remember, I once told you something about the module. In a module you cannot do that. A module will use only a single set of data for all the every time this module will be called. So that's a different topic, but this is an explanation of how our objects relates to our class. Thank you.